What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. So thank you guys again for joining us for the recap. I do want to make sure that for those that are joining us for the first time, if you guys want to get started in investing or trading penny stocks, we have a group. We're almost at 15,000 members worldwide. And the thing that we do best is share best practices, share mistakes, and efforts to promote growth. So the link is provided for you down in the description if you guys want to join. But let me go ahead and get started right into this recap for today. So I'm not too sure if it says it in the banner just yet, but one of the biggest things that I did today, and again, what we do is share mistakes and best practices, right? And we started this $1,000 challenge for me to actually overcome any hesitations that I really didn't encounter because when you have over $25,000 in your Robinhood account, you don't have to worry about that PDT rule, meaning that you can trade as many times or day trade as many times as you want when you have a margin account, as long as you have over $25,000. Now, when you have less than $25,000, you have to only, or you can only day trade 3 times in a 5-day period. And it makes it very difficult because I know a lot of you have the experience and the knowledge to make, that have the potential to make, thousands and thousands and make this a career, right? And one of the biggest drawbacks is this restriction with the PDT rule because it restricts you and it makes you almost, just rethink like what it is that you're going to invest in because when you buy, you should have a plan on where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're cutting your losses. There's always that cut losses possibility that if you do hit it, that's a day trade that you just lost, and then out of the next 5 days you could only do it 2 more times. And for this $1,000 challenge, you need to be hitting 2.33% growth per day. Yesterday, we did amazing. It was within a couple of minutes. We hit a little bit over 4%, and that was great, right? So it gave me a good enough cushion for this week. Now, when it came to my trade today, I'm going to talk about one of the big movers today. It was MTBC, NAK, and what was the last one? I'll go ahead and I believe, no, it wasn't FNCX. There was another one that was a big mover. And it was one that we were trading a couple days ago, but it came down to me breaking one of my biggest rules. And one of my biggest rules is not holding a penny stock overnight. I didn't do it intentionally, and this is because I have Robinhood Gold. Even with this $1,000 account, I can trade after market hours. So I'm taking a trip, right? I'm here in California in my parents' house, and I came to visit my family, but I was distracted and I put a limit order to sell. I removed my stop loss because the stock that I was trading, FTR, was above the price that I originally bought it at, and I was getting ready to sell at 1.45. It wasn't for a huge amount of profit. It was like 1.5%. But again, I was already up 4% for the day. I was going to be up like 5.55, I think, overall for that day, which is great. That's more than, in a sense, that's pretty much 2 days worth of trading. And I did that in one day. And again, I used my day trade according to that. My limit order didn't fill. And what that led me to do was, because I was distracted, I wasn't aware of it. And when I woke up this morning, I logged into my Robinhood account and I saw that FTR from the very morning. It dropped down from the 143 that I originally bought at down to 129 or 128 was the low. It started picking up and I set up a plan. I was like, man, how am I going to explain this? I'm supposed to be leading by example. Am I going to try to cover this up, right? So they don't think that, me, the in a sense, the leader, the creator of this group, can't even follow those rules? Or should I make a video talking specifically about it, why it's so important? And of course, I don't want to hide anything from you guys. And of course, I want to be, as clear and as realistic as I can with you guys. And I think this can be, great for those that are watching that have never held a penny stock overnight, but that are thinking about it. Just search on our Facebook platform. If you get accepted within our TechBot Solutions Facebook platform, search on the keywords, search up holding overnight. You'll see the number of people. There'll be some people that did well, right? But the majority of people that hold overnight see red days, and then they see why it's such an important rule. And in no way, these are just rules that I came up with. There's three, not holding a penny stock overnight, only trading stocks with 10% potential that have, a potential margin for profit, and as well as always setting a stop loss. Those are just rules that I created that have assisted me in my, success for being a successful day trader. In no way do I want each and every one of you to think that you guys have to do that. But I want this experience and this, just my mistake, to be a mistake that you guys don't have to make. This is the whole point of the group. This is the whole point of, I made the mistake. Now, instead of you guys repeating that same mistake and losing money on holding a penny stock overnight, instead of doing that, learn from my mistake and don't lose your money. I lost because I was able to understand kind of where it was going. I saw that it was building a resistance at 1.37. I saw that the support was at 1.28. What I started to do was I bought in a little bit lower at that like 130 area, and as it was climbing up, I kept selling. I ended up losing, I think, a little bit less than 4% or about 3% from a 10 or 11% loss when it hit its low point, or 8% loss at its low point. So again, it wasn't an amazing or a ridiculous loss, but it was, I broke one of my rules, and that was one of the biggest things that I didn't want to do, especially with this $1,000 challenge, because me as the group creator, I want to lead by example, and I want to make sure that you guys don't think, well, this guy, that created this whole challenge is not breaking the rules, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm telling you that that was my mistake, and that led to me giving up pretty much all my profit from yesterday back. Now, did that not only make me, just waste a day trade, right? Now, does that not only put me behind schedule for this $1,000 challenge, but it's one of the worst feelings, especially when you're in the green, or, instead of having your, and when I didn't have my stop loss set because I removed it because I was, again, distracted. I was getting too confident with my trades, and I didn't set my stop loss. I put my limit orders to sell. I never actually touched that point. I was partially executed at 1.44, but other than that, that was it. I didn't get filled completely. I ended up losing a couple dollars. I think in total I lost about $40. So for a $1,000 account, that's huge. It was a little bit over $1,000 that I had, but overall, it was my mistake. And I definitely want to make sure that, again, if you guys take anything from this video, if you guys are getting into trading penny stocks, if you guys are just starting out, just know, and I mean, feel free to join the group. The link is provided for you down below, and you guys can see based on other people's experience. Again, when trading, you're going based off trends. Now go based off our experiences and see how a majority of traders that hold overnight, what's their success rate? And you're gonna see that more of them see red days than they do green days. And what does that, express to you? Or what does that mean? Well, then you shouldn't be holding a penny stock overnight, because yes, you might get lucky from time to time. So for those that held MTBC overnight today, it was trading at about like $1.90, hit highs of about $3.84. Yeah, that's amazing, right? That's ridiculous. That's the goal. That's the dream. Realistically, you're not going to catch those every single time. Realistically, those are going to be one out of 100 to 200 trades, or thousands of trades. Not exactly sure what the statistic would be for that. But I'm telling you, if you realistically want to do this as a career, you have to be disciplined. And I'm sorry that I broke one of my rules. And that's one of the biggest things. I'm on JDST right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about my trade with that one. And that is really just that I'm up. The reason I'm saying that I'm down overall today about 3% is because I'm up a little bit over 1% on JDST. It's dropping a little bit right now to 87.72 based on what I see. But I'm going to talk about why I saw potential in that one, and then one of the 2 or 3 most popular stocks that we are trading today. I'll go ahead and start answering some of your questions just in case today's recap is a little bit slower. And then I'm going to, if you guys can wait till like the last 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you guys, for those in the Orange County area, if you guys would like to meet up for lunch or coffee today. I'm going to take one person out today since I'm here in this area, and this is a pretty popular area for our group. So just wanted to go ahead and ask around. I'm looking at the live chat right now just so I can have that ready. I do apologize. All right. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with you guys. and then we'll go from there. I'm not too sure if you guys noticed, and you guys probably don't care because it's my channel, right? But within our YouTube channel, we just broke 13,000 subscribers, which I think is a huge, again, milestone in a sense, right? Because of how we started at 1,000, 4 months ago. So that's ridiculous, and can't thank you guys enough for that. But let me go ahead and talk about what I saw in JDST. JDST, let's go ahead and I'm gonna pull a 2-day analysis so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. It had its peak, pretty much, let's call this a resistance, right? At $100, right? It had a previous support right around here, about $94, $95. It broke that and continues to it broke that after market hours, right? It looked like it had a huge, yesterday I really made the mistake because I was so busy that I didn't trade this, but I kept seeing that trend. Look, pre-market hours, it had a support at about $95, had its resistance at about $100. Came back down, bounced at that same support. Again, trends repeating themselves. So what you could have done was just waited for the bounce, see that that was an old resistance or an old support, and right as a bounce, you could have bought in. Where's the old resistance? Well, it's right around $99.50 to $100. And then when the RSI indicator indicates that it's oversold, then you sell. And that's really what just happened. The potential for profit was about 5% on this trade, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and see. Yeah, it's about 4 to 5%. So again, not a bad trade. Twice as much as what you need for your day trade with your $1,000 challenge. And this definitely is not a extremely risky, right, ETF to trade because of its dollar value. This is definitely not a penny stock. It's not a stock at all. It's a ETF, but it's one that we trade quite often. Now, after market hours, it broke the support, and now where is it going, right? Where is it going to bounce? Well, pre-market hours was really not much help because pre-market hours, right as the market opened, there was those huge pullbacks, ended up, dropping to lows of 85 cents. So what you usually want to do is wait for the support to identify itself. So that's what I was trying to wait for. So it identified itself at 85.26, bounced, and then hit a resistance at about 88, almost $89. Now we know that the support is at 85, resistance at 88. Okay, so now setting up a plan. As it's coming down on this downward trend, where is it going to bounce? There's going to be these little bounces, but where is it going to bounce? Well, most likely based on this old support, it's going to be bouncing around there. I mean, it ended up bouncing at 85.30, which is 4 cents off of this old support. So again, old supports repeating themselves, old bounces, right? So it bounced, and then where is it going to see the resistance? Well, it's seeing the resistance right here at 88. But what I'm seeing right now is that as it hits this resistance, it's not coming down all the way anymore. It's bouncing, and these bounces that it's seen are now showing like upward momentum, right? They're not as low as they were before. So what I'm thinking is if it continues to flatline at this resistance at about, $89, once it ends up breaking that resistance, then I think that's when we're going to really see, the break in the resistance and then see this huge gap that it's built, pre-market and after-market hours, and it fill completely, right? Other than that, that was pretty much my whole analysis, why I jumped into JDST. I identified the support, I identified the resistance, and I set up a plan. I wasn't very active within the group chat today just because of everything that I had going on this morning. But pretty much, I felt like I set up a pretty simple plan. I hope it makes sense to you guys. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. But again, I'm just using the RSI indicators right here and the EMA indicator to showing signs of upward momentum. And with this, I can see when it's a good buy, when it's a good sell, right? So overbought and then oversold, and then showing signs of upward momentum, properly identifying, once this ETF goes above, this SMA line, it starts to show signs of upward momentum. So I know that, I'm catching it on the rise instead of on the downward trend. And that's really just it. So I ended up catching it when it actually started going up rather at the lowest point. I wasn't too worried of catching it, at 85 or 86. I really wanted to make sure that I was catching it on the rise. So I didn't get in at exactly the best price, but that's just it. So realistically, I think I have a pretty solid plan. I have my stop loss set to minimize loss. And I plan to sell at the end of the day, if not at around $88, $89, or potentially, if it could break this resistance, then I'll follow with the trailing stop loss. But that's pretty much my whole analysis for JDST. Now let's talk about NAK. Okay, so all this happened, pre-market and after market hours. So a lot of you guys don't have access to that. It did end up bouncing at lows of 215, hitting highs of 231. Again, that's great. That's about 10% potential that it had for margin of profit if you played that perfectly. What I want you guys to focus on was this huge pullback, and this is what I really missed out on today. I got all my alerts. And let me see if I can actually put my alerts. I knew that based on how NAK plays out, because it used to have a previous support at around 140 to 150. If we go about 10 days ago, it had the previous support there. I've traded NAK with NAK before, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I know that it's been seeing a lot of volume. It's been seeing a consistent upward trend. I was waiting for a solid drop. I honestly didn't expect it to be this drastic, just drop and people it start tanking. But look at this RSI indicator. This is why it's so important. It shows that it's oversold and that it's most likely going to slingshot back. And then you didn't even have to get in, at the lowest point. You could wait for it to show signs of upward momentum. And at this point, from around 190, it has hit, $2.10. So that's about 15% potential. Just imagine if you have caught it from this solid bounce at around, let's say, 170, waiting for it to actually bounce, and then have sold around $2, because that's probably where I would have sold at. So 30 cents for a $1.50 stock, pretty much. That's about 20% potential. And that was with one single trade. That's more than, that's more profit that you have to see within 1 month for this $1,000 challenge. But it comes down to planning. Again, this was an amazing setup that I was I set my alerts on, but I wasn't quick enough to react. I was pretty, bummed. I didn't feel really in the mood to trade because of my mistake. And that's no issue, right? You have to make sure that you're in the right mindset. And if I would have traded, if this didn't go the way it did, and it continued to tank down, I might have not been in the mindset to stop loss accordingly or just set up a plan accordingly. And you always want to make sure that no matter the potential, there's always going to be money made, or potential money made out there. So you want to make sure that you're in the right mindset. Now we see that there's a resistance right here at around 810, and as we can see, that is right as it broke 210. That's that huge drop. And as it's riding its way back up, now it's a resistance. It's struggling to go above it. So now, if it does break above it, that'd be nice to break, up to 221 to 230. But again, the potential for profit, I think there's more potential for loss than there is for profit with NAK based on, the signs that it's been showing. But definitely just wanted to talk about this one. And I want to see if I can show you guys actually my alerts when it actually broke. Let's see. So as you guys can see, I set a lot of alerts. So yeah, this is when they're all triggered. When it drops below, oh no, that's when it went above. I don't know if my phone alerts show up on my actual Thinkorswim platform, but whatever. Just wanted to see if I could show you guys that. Now the next one that I'm going to be talking about, DRYS. It had a bounce at 86 cents. Again, a huge pullback during the market open, and it bounced. It started showing signs of upward momentum. I would have realistically sold right around that $1 mark. The reason why was because that was the resistance. And that only makes sense to me. I would have bought more likely at around 87 cents. And the reason why was because that was a support during pre-market hours. So I use, usually pre-market hours to identify support and resistance, the highs and the lows, to set up my plan on, once it breaks above, it starts showing signs of upward momentum. And if you see my SMA indicator right here, right around that 87 cents mark, or 88, it starts showing signs of upward momentum and it starts climbing. I called this one out. I actually thought it was gonna see a resistance around 94 cents, but it broke that resistance. A really flat line there. And the reason I thought at 94 cents was because of the old resistance it had a day before, as it struggled to go above 94 cents. It broke above that, then broke above the $1 mark, and great. A lot of people were talking about this within our group chat. So I felt like there was, a good, in a sense, just conversation going on about different gappers. And this is why I love chasing red stocks, because I like catching them at the bounce. And that's why I chase them. That's why I choose to focus on those. Now, let's focus on MTBC. This one had a huge spike. I'm guessing they had, let's look at their news. Not too sure if they released one of like their Q1 reports or Q2 reports, whatever it is that they released. But look at this. I mean, from trading at around, I was trading this one, I believe a couple days ago. I ended up having to sell at 184, 193, and today it hit highs of about 184. like, unrealistic, right? For those that caught it at the low points of this and trying to sell it there, I mean, realistically, that's almost 100% profit. But is this realistic to hope for? No. It saw a lot of momentum during pre-market hours, and I should have done a better job identifying that and calling that out in the group. So I do apologize for that. But it saw a little resistance right here around 245. So that's the resistance, and then it saw support at around, what is that, 212. So it was bouncing around this area, and right as the market opened, it opened at like 260 if I'm not mistaken, and shot up to 380. So still huge areas of profit, right? And for those that caught it on the rise, good job for you. I hope you guys use the RSI indicators to indicate that, when it was a good time to sell. But overall, I mean, it ended up playing out very well, and then had huge pullbacks throughout the entire day. So that was the only thing, you have to understand that I don't want to say these are pump and dumps, but definitely a lot of hype behind them. And you want to make sure that you're not part of that hype, that you plan accordingly. So yeah, this little, what's it called? Little icon right here shows that they had a call in the morning. Obviously it went well. And then in doing that, showed good signs, or it could have just been manipulated, not too sure. So I have to look a little bit more into that, but it looks like it's building the support around 275. And it's most likely going to see slowly a downward trend, is based on what I see, because it didn't hold for much above $3, as that's the new resistance, as you guys can see right there. But let me go ahead and go back to start sharing my, so you guys can see me. But that's really just it. So I hope that made sense to you guys. I'm gonna try to do a better job within the pre-market movers group chat, because I feel like you guys really like that. You guys really like, all right, let me talk about why I stopped doing it. I was getting a lot of feedback that people were mimicking my trades and the stocks that I was watching. Because I posted on the pre-market group chat. I've been getting emails asking, what is it that I'm trading? They're having trouble identifying potential. Can I tell them what to trade? I'm 100% never going to tell you what to trade. If you're joining this group, right? If you're joining our community for people to tell you what to trade, this is the wrong community. That's stock twits. You would go on stock twits for people to tell you what to invest in, and then 90% of the people that do lose money. That's why so many people lose money, because they have no understanding of what they're investing in. And that's one of the biggest mistakes. How do you, like in the long run, see yourself making money in a market that's extremely competitive and extremely volatile, and just hope that you get lucky based on someone else's opinion, piggyback based on someone else's, knowledge? The people aren't going to be, especially those that are telling you, oh, 100% return, 20% profit, or potential for profit, like, 100% like trade and invest your money in this. No, like, if it was 100% sure that it was going to go up, don't you think everyone would be talking about that stock and going in on it? There's sometimes that, you do end up getting or catching out a good rise. But realistically, you have to do, your work to identify potential. Set up a plan and trade accordingly. That's why we say learn, plan, execute, because it's so important, you as the investor, to identify and plan and execute. I don't know how you guys would see it in the long run to really do this as a career. Let's say tomorrow TechBot Solutions isn't here. How do you guys plan on, if you guys quit your jobs and then do this because you guys are seeing a large return because you guys are mimicking my trade, and then TechBot Solutions just stops? What are you guys going to do then? You have no understanding on how to trade. You were trading based on someone else's opinion, and now you have this money that you're just going to continue to trade based on someone else's opinion. It's not a formula for success. And I want to make sure that you guys understand how important it is to learn how to trade, to learn how to identify potential. And that's why I keep making videos that are so, I try to make them as simple as I can and so similar, but they all express the same thing. They all express that the importance of, learning. Learning is one of the biggest things. It's something that I truly enjoy. And I know it's not like that for everyone, but I would much rather than watch any TV show. I would much rather sit with any one of you, and for you guys that are professionals in whatever field that you guys are in, talk to me so I can learn from the best and learn from your best practices and learn from your mistakes. I love learning. I wasn't a straight A student in high school. that doesn't at all mean that I'm like super smart or at all, right? But something that I truly know about myself is that I love learning, and that I love helping people. That's one of the biggest things that I truly enjoy to do. But I can't express that enough on how important it is that you guys need to put in the work. I've been trying to create different challenges and different, in a sense, just features within our group that motivate you guys to at least put 10 minutes every day to do your own analysis, identifying potential, planning. But I feel like a lot of you are still piggybacking from the group leaders or the people that are doing well within our group, which isn't. I don't want to tell you guys to not follow other people within the group, because it's always good to have like a mentor or someone to look up to. But don't ever base your trade, your hard-earned money, based on someone else's opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and answer this call while I'm on this live chat. Let's go ahead and see who it is. Hey, what's going on, Michael? Okay, wait, I'm gonna have to mute it. I'm actually doing a live stream. All right, I do apologize for that. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna start answering your guys' questions. That was my cousin that's actually just coming over. We're just gonna talk a little bit about his business and then go from there. But let me go ahead and Jesse Baker says, hi, Michael. And really quick, for those that are watching this, because my videos tend to generate more views now than they did before. So for those that are watching for the first time, I have a series of helpful videos that probably answer whatever questions you guys are asking within the group chat. So I would recommend you guys to look through my videos and look through the helpful video playlist to see, if any of those videos answer some of your questions, because I think I do elaborate on a lot of frequently asked questions. I want to make sure that you guys are aware that I have content out there that can assist you with that. So I'm going to start asking some of your questions right now. We heard everything you said. That's by Nova Player One. If you heard everything that I said, what did I say then? All right. All right, this is by Rafael Ramirez. He's asked, how can I do $1,000 with $100 just to get started? What should I be aiming for? Okay, so this $1,000 challenge is just an idea. It's just a challenge. All I did was I used the average number of whatever the account is within our group, which is about $1,000, and I made a challenge to accommodate those people. I know there's people with $50, and I know there's people with $50,000. I just made this challenge to, in a sense, motivate you guys to understand that the potential that you have. So if you're starting with $100, all you need to understand is I have an Excel sheet within our TechBud Solutions Facebook platform. All you have to do is, I believe it's called, and correct me if I'm wrong, but search for it. It's under files within the TechBud Solutions Facebook platform, and I believe it's not the PBP, the Prime Berry Picks check. Checklist, but it's I'm not too sure if I called it the $1,000 challenge Excel sheet, but it's an Excel sheet. It's under files. You guys can find it. I'm one of the first people that posted it. So you can simply go under files, and then it should populate right there. So it's called a penny stock growth plan. So go ahead and search that up within the Facebook platform. And what that does, it gives you $1,000 in the Excel sheet that you can change, and you would change that to $100. And then all the numbers would change, and it will tell you and generate the growth from $100 for the next 365 days on what it can be if you hit an average of 2.33% growth a day. And the reason I talked about 2.33% growth a day is because I feel like that's a realistic goal to hit every single day to see that growth. And I believe you're starting with $100, you're most likely going to see maybe $2,000 at the end of 1 year. And I'm not 100% sure. That was just off the top of my head. So I hope that answers your question, man. So Sarge says, thanks for sharing, Ricky. I appreciate it, of course. So Jess Baker says, for those that are starting out, says use Robinhood. You don't pay commissions. So it's definitely a good platform when starting out, especially if you have a smaller account. Okay, this is by Troy S. This is a pretty good question. How do you pick your stocks to look for the following day? Do you set alerts and let's say 10 different stocks that see high volume the following day? I set 5 alerts. I have 5 alerts and none really moved. Okay, so I made a video probably like 5 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, and it's how to trade penny stocks. And it's probably, let me go ahead and see. I'm sorry, it was 4 days ago. It's how to trade for beginners, penny stock investor. It's 4 days ago, and I go into detail exactly how I plan out. I talk about why the 10 minutes a day is so important, and all I do is the day before, as of today, I'm planning for tomorrow. What I'm going to be doing is I dedicate about at least probably 30 minutes, and I perform a technical analysis to identify potential on the top probably 15 to 30 stocks within my watch list that see the highest volume. That's just an indicator that I use. Then the following day, I filter out stocks. I use my Primeberry checklist to actually filter out those stocks, the ones that I see potential in. I have about 5 to 10. And then the morning of, during pre-market hours, what I do is I, again, analyze those 5 to 10 stocks that I have in my Primeberry pick checklist, stocks that meet my criteria as a good stock to trade for the following day, and see which ones open with the right amount of volume, with the right upward momentum, and with the RSI indicator showing that it's a buy. So I use different criteria to identify potential, and I go into detail with all about that. So I hope that can be useful for you. Rafael Ramirez says, thanks, of course, man. So Nova 3Player1 says, hey, I actually shouldn't buy shares based on someone's opinion. I used to do that 70% of the time. I lost money. And again, you can go based on anyone else. You don't have to go based on the people or my own word. You can look at the hundreds of posts within our platform that just prove that how important it is to not go based on someone else's opinion, and how important it is to not hold a penny stock overnight. Buggy Owens, I can't say that in camera, but that's funny. Which is better, AZ or California? This is by Paper Shredder. I personally like the environment. My cousin's actually, he sneaked into my backyard. So I personally like the environment. I personally like the environment in Arizona because it's a lot there's so many less people in Arizona, and I feel like it's more of a family type of environment. Here in California, again, I grew up here, but I like the transition. That I obviously like the weather more here in California, but I like the people and the whole environment and the mindset in Arizona. All right, I had to get the sliding door for my cousin since he sneaked into my backyard. Ben Armstrong says, are you aware that you spelled berry wrong on the checklist? If you guys watched the video on me actually creating that Primeberry pick checklist, I named it after the member within our group that came up with the idea, which was Barry. That's why I named it that. And it was Barry. That's why I named it Primeberry checklist. So I talked about 100% that I was aware that it wasn't Berry, but I wanted to give credit to Barry, who actually came up with the whole idea. But that was a good catch. Ricky, do you use only Thinkorswim platform, or are there others that you recommend? I mean, it's now my main platform. I used to use Fidelity, but I like the live platform and all the indicators that I can use there, and it just makes it a lot easier for me. But I know that Charles Schwab has one, and Fidelity has one, and series of brokerage companies, almost everyone except for Robinhood, have one that you can download. So regular versus cash account. I'm using a margin account with my Robinhood challenge, just because with compounding interest, you see a larger return when you have your overall account value there. Yes, you can day trade more times with a cash account since you can split it up into 10 days, but realistically, if I'm gonna be trading with $1,000 every day, 5 days a week, then I have to have $5,000. And realistically, based on the people that are in our group, not a majority of them have $5,000 to do that. So I just wanted to make it as just realistic and as ideal for every single member within TechBud Solutions. So how do you determine what kind of penny stocks or what kind of program do you use to discover? I go solely based on technical analysis. I've seen to see more of a higher success rate with me doing my work and identifying potential. I have tried to use scanners, and that's more for momentum, and that's more for like gappers, but it's not necessarily my style of trading. I talk about that all the time. That's why I'm trying to assist members within our group that see that have a specific talent with their style of trading, as in swing trading, momentum trading for me as in technical trading, and try to help them become more known within our group, because I want to make sure that I'm not the only one that talks about my best practices, that someone else can assist our large community of traders in their specific talent, because not everyone's going to be the best technical trader. Someone might be a better swing trader or momentum trader. So how did you learn how to invest? Well, it really came down to just trial and error. Everyone always asks me that, and it really comes down to trial and error and not giving up. Always just learning from your mistakes and trying to see what you're doing wrong and doing good, and then setting up a plan. So this is my cousin Michael.
What's up, guys?
I think you've seen them in some of my other videos. So now they're asking me, where in Cali am I actually located? Well, right now we're located in the border of Yorba Linda and Placentia. And I'm actually, let's go ahead and just get right into that then. I want the people that are within TechBud Solutions, or if you guys get accepted within TechBud Solutions quick enough, within 1 hour, if you guys are available to meet up, if you guys are in the Orange County area, I think we're gonna meet in Anaheim. Message me or DM me within the TechBud Solutions group chat if you're willing to meet up. And then I'll send you the location that we're gonna be at, and I'd love to just meet you guys. So this is just kind of gonna be super quick. It's for those that are watching. So yes, these videos get like a couple thousand views, but it's most likely just gonna be the 112 of you that are gonna be that are aware that we're meeting up within the next couple of minutes. So I need you guys to message me because we're gonna be meeting up at 1 o'clock. So message me and I'll send you the address where we're meeting up for lunch. And then it's not only going to be me and Michael, but there's 2 other YouTubers that are going to be there. So I think it's going to be really cool for you guys to actually be there. But I do have to go since we have to meet up with them. So I really like the conversation that you guys are having within our live chat, and go ahead and move that over to our group chat just because that's no longer going to be accessed. So again, the link is going to be provided for you down below, and all this gets erased, I believe. So go ahead and join. First, once you get accepted to TechBud Solutions Facebook platform, the links are provided for you on the top pinned post. So click on that, and then you'll have access to the thousands of people that are within our group chats. So other than that, if you guys can give the video a thumbs up, we'd greatly appreciate it. And if you guys haven't subscribed, we do upload, daily recaps like these. And then stay tuned for our helpful video that will be up at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, Monday through Friday, like always today. Thank you guys again, and like always, I hope that my mistake today is something that you guys can learn from. And definitely take it as a learning experience so you guys don't have to repeat it. Overall, I can't thank you guys again enough for the support. And like always, let's make sure that we end the week on a green note and the year, obviously. All right, take care, guys.